The Bay Area housing market is off to a better start than most people anticipated heading into 2023. But can this momentum be sustained? Coming up on this Silicon Valley Snapshot. If you've been following this channel for the last couple of weeks, and actually for maybe the last 2 months or so, you'll know that the trends have been quite positive for the Bay Area housing market in the latter part of 2022, heading into 2023. And now things are looking pretty good for most counties here in the Bay Area. But the question remains, can this momentum be sustained? And we're going to get into that. But before we get into all that data, and before we get into the numbers, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace, you're looking for a comprehensive data set to assist you in your home buying decision making, you can text the word data plus the area, the neighborhood, the zip code that you're looking in, and we'll get that data sent straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace, you're trying to figure out, should I be selling my property now? Should I be holding off for a little bit? And if I do sell my property, what should I price it for? Because right now, pricing strategy matters more than ever. You can text the word data plus your property address to the number down below for a comprehensive data set to answer all of your questions. Over the last 6 weeks or so, two very important things have been happening if you've been paying attention in the Bay Area housing market that have essentially caused us to start experiencing a mini spring market here in the beginning part of this year. And if you've been paying attention, but you've been watching this channel now, you'll know that I actually predicted this back in the fall of 2022. We're starting to see some signs, and I was saying that in 2018 we had very similar conditions to what we experienced in the fall of 2022. So fall 2018, fall 2022, very similar conditions. And now heading into 2023, we're seeing very similar conditions to what we saw in the beginning of 2019, which was a mini spring season. So what are these two very important things? Well, the first thing, obviously the rates. The interest rates have come down rather significantly over the last 8 weeks. And that has caused a lot of buyers to come off the fence now because they're seeing, wow, suddenly the homes that I've been looking at are a lot more affordable. You know, an interest rate coming down, a half point, 5/8 points, that's a 5 to 7% drop in prices, even if prices stay the same. That's great news for home buyers right now. And then you couple that with the second factor, which are inventory levels coming down very significantly over the last 3 months. And we're starting to see signs of a resurgence in the market. Makes sense. Supply is coming down significantly. Demand is going up. And that is the perfect storm for prices to start to increase. But is this the beginning of the end of the housing bubble that we've seen here in the Bay Area? Well, that remains to be seen. Going back to 2019, after that mini spring season during the first 60 to 90 days of the year, depending on the county that you were in, we saw a fairly stable market in 2019. And while not all factors are the same in 2019 and here in 2023, there are enough parallels to draw from. And in fact, a lot of economists right now are predicting a recovery year here in 2023 that are going to be aided by several factors. HousingWire.com quotes Fannie Mae's ESR group. We project that the combination of declining home prices, lower mortgage rates, and with time, growing household incomes will eventually place the housing market in a recovery. However, we believe this process is likely to take multiple years. In recovery periods, housing activity tends to slow down fairly significantly. Why? Well, you're at a standstill with the opposing side. When you think about buyers and sellers in a healthy market, in a market that's moving, buyers are buying, sellers are selling. But right now, less buyers are buying because of the rates and less sellers are selling because prices have come down from the all-time high that they were at earlier in 2022. So, what does that mean? That means it's going to take a few of these mini seasons to get us back into the swing of things. It could be 1 season, it could be 2 seasons, it could be 3 seasons, mini spring seasons to get us there. And by mini spring season, I effectively mean where we have suppressed inventory levels and increased demand for a sustained period of time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the springtime, but typically in the spring is when we see that come to fruition. And so if we're going to get out of this here, it's going to take a couple of events like that to move us past where we were originally, back in the earlier parts of 2022. The article goes on to say that there are also signs that a soft landing may be in the offing, according to Doug Duncan, Senior Vice President and Chief Economist of Fannie Mae. With the market expecting the Federal Reserve to ease its monetary policy in the second half of the year, there are two likely scenarios: a view that the recession is forthcoming, or that the slowdown in inflation will lead to a less restrictive monetary posture. If the slowdown in inflation leads to a less restrictive monetary posture, the lower accompanying rates will likely set the stage for a pickup in housing activity going into 2024. However, the market is wrong, and the Federal Reserve does as it is stated it will do, and hold the federal funds target at the terminal rate longer to ensure no inflation resurgence. Then the accompanying rate decline and associated revival in housing activity will likely be delayed. In either case, we expect 2023 to be a slow year for the housing market. In other words, a lot of the market conditions are going to be dependent on the rate levels. In other words, housing activity, home prices are going to be highly dependent on interest rates and how that all shakes out here in 2023. I don't think that this is necessarily earth-breaking or ground-shattering analysis. I mean, let's just do some basic thinking here. Interest rates, when they go up, purchase power comes down. When purchase power comes down, buyers can buy less home. When buyers can buy less home, they have to pay less money, which means that sellers are less happy, which means that they're going to put less homes on the market, or not as many sellers are going to want to put their home on the market. And it's this ripple effect. And vice versa. If rates are lower, buyers are like, oh, I'd like to buy a house, and okay, I'll pay $100,000 over asking. Why not? And then we start to see that more sellers put their home on the market because, oh my gosh, like, why wouldn't I want to sell my home when prices are coming up and up and up? Now, here's going to be the interesting thing. How many sellers have been sitting on the sideline for the last 5 years that when the market does have this resurgence, that's it for them? They're like, listen, we had our ride here in the Bay Area. We're going to put our home on the market and actually get it sold this time. It'd be interesting to see how sellers react, or potential sellers react, this time around once the market finally does turn back around. It'd be very fascinating because I don't think we're going to see inventory levels pick up nearly to where they were at in the summer of this year, where we saw a massive spike in inventory levels. I don't think we're going to see that kind of response until prices turn back around. So it'd be very fascinating to see how the market reacts if and when the rates come down to a point where activity spikes up to a level that will entice a lot of sellers who have been on the fence for many, many years, maybe even half a decade, to finally make the move that they've been planning for so long. Get your popcorn out, folks, because this is going to be a fun one, but you can count on the Silicon Valley Snapshot to keep you up to date with the latest market trends and stats here for the entirety of 2023 and beyond. And if you've made it this far in the video, you're not already subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up while you're at it, because it costs you nothing, helps us get in front of more people just like yourself, and it keeps you up to date with all Silicon Valley news and market updates. This is Danny Gould. I'm selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next video.